Power is expected to be restored by the end of the business day today. Take a look behind me here. Earlier this morning during rush hour, police were directing traffic here at Woodward and Jefferson. But now, like a number of intersections in and around downtown Detroit, it's being treated or should be treated like a four-way stop. And city officials say they had no choice but to cut power when they did yesterday. And they say there was just no time to warn anyone.
The grid can go down. The entire grid can go down. So the entire city could go down.
The entire residences too, or just?
Residents as well.
But I thought DT does
DT some, we do the others. So it's, again, you're looking at the grid, we talk to DT all the time.
How many residents?
From traffic tie-ups to buildings being closed.
April, come back around. They're not coming to see me until Monday. I got to come back.
Power problems with the Detroit public lighting system continued in and around the downtown area today. And while 36th District Court is open, the 3rd Circuit Court or the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice was closed.
They didn't give me no warning, and I'm all the way in Flat Rock, Michigan with no car to my name.
And you got to come back on Monday.
Just wasting my time.
Detroit police directed traffic through a couple of major intersections downtown, but quite a number of intersections along Woodward and Jefferson had to be treated as four-way stops, with not every driver being patient, but for the most part,
everyone's been very courteous. It hasn't been a problem at all.
Everybody taking their turn?
Everyone taking their turn, absolutely.
The power problems forced yesterday's evacuation and today's closure of the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. Classes at Wayne State University were also canceled for today, as well as classes for 10 Detroit public schools, including Cass Tech. This 9th grader didn't know about the cancellation till she showed up.
I didn't expect it to be closed.
Detroit city officials say the problem occurred with high power usage during a couple of recent hot days. That, they say, taxed the system, causing several 24,000-volt lines that feed power from DTE into the Detroit public lighting system to fail. And so to preserve power to places like the police department, the jail, city-wide street lighting, and the majority of Detroit public schools, they made an emergency decision to shut down much of the power. And again, right now, you're only looking at a security guard. They're the only ones inside the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center right now. And again, we're told by city officials that power to the affected buildings and traffic signals in and around the downtown area should be back on by the end of business today. And a spokesperson for DTE, I just want to pass along, a spokesperson for DTE says the Detroit public lighting problems did not affect any of their customers. Reporting live in downtown Detroit, Kimberly Craig, Channel 7 Action News. Joanne, back to you.
All right, Kim, thank you very much for the live report and all that great information. And joining us on the phone now is Karen Dumas, the communications director for Mayor Bing. Karen, thanks so much for being with us. Bring us up to speed on the power situation right now.
Well, just the update that you gave, there were 3 tie lines, which are transmission lines, that failed. We have 2 of them restored now and expect power to be back at full restoration by the end of the day.
With that in mind, Karen, what do people also need to know about this moving forward, the possibility of something like this happening again?
Well, if you remember, this happened last year. I mean, it's the penalty of having such an antiquated system, but it lends, value to the conversation that the mayor has initiated in terms of whether or not this is a service that the city of Detroit needs to be in. So that conversation continues if it's not escalated at this time.
I think a lot of people would be surprised by this idea. I think most people think DTE kind of controls all the power, but in this case it's not. Detroit Public Lighting is in charge of a number of the power downtown in the buildings. Are any residential areas affected by this that you're aware of, Karen?
No, they are not affected by this, but as you heard our chief operating officer indicate earlier, had we not made the decision, it would have impacted a grid that could have had a residential impact.
What kind of questions are you getting from people? What do you think most people are concerned about the most now moving forward, maybe with some business that they weren't able to get done in the last couple of days?
Well, I think for the most part, most people have been tuning in to, the news. All of you guys have been great in helping us to get the word out. So I think most people are informed. Everybody has been most cooperative and patient. So, things happen, and we are working feverishly to get it done. Certainly DTE and our DPL crews have just been phenomenal, working overnight to get the situation resolved, and hopefully we will have that done so by the end of the day today.
So you think by the end, because you mentioned 2 lines are already fixed, correct?
Yes.
You said, now, does that mean that power that is associated with those two lines, that there is power back on in some of those places, or do you have to get all three
fixed? It could be, but I've not gotten a confirmation in terms of if they have been reactivated to restore power or if they are going to repair all lines first before restoring power to all of those, who lost it.
Okay, but hopefully by the end of business today, 5 o'clock or so, hopefully we'll be reporting that everything's back to normal.
Yes, but we do ask people to be patient, drive carefully, treat any intersections without lighting as a four-way stop, and just kind of take a deep breath. We're going to get it done.
All right, Karen Dumas reporting. Thank you, the Mayor's Communication Director. We appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
In other news this afternoon, here's a look at the public places in Detroit that are closed for business today because of the power failure that we've been talking about. City Hall, which is the Coleman Young Building, Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, which is one of the Wayne County Court buildings, Wayne County Probate Court, the McNamara Federal Building, Wayne State University's main campus, the Wayne County Community College downtown campus, the Detroit Department of Transportation. The People Mover, by the way, is also shut down. The main library on Woodward, also the Skillman branch of the library on Gratiot, and the Detroit Historical Museum. Okay, but here's the good news now. We also have a list of the places that are open. The Lincoln Hall of Justice Juvenile Court is open for business. The Penobscot Building is open. Detroit Police Headquarters have not been affected by the outage, but police took steps to conserve power. And the Detroit Fire Headquarters on Washington is open, but they're using a large generator to keep the lights on. Also, the Detroit Science Center was not affected by the power outage, so if you have plans to go there today, you're okay. You can go there until 3 o'clock this afternoon and enjoy the special NASA exhibit.